Zero Mark here with a preview of the Player Celebration Week 1 Slayer event. I've got a lot to say about this one, so I'm going to break it into two parts. The first part, we're going to just talk about the event deck. The event deck for this week is a Gemfall deck. This deck is pretty much a carbon copy of the Water Gemfall deck that came out about a month ago. So let's take a look at the event deck. So I'm going to scroll down here and look at the support hero first. The support hero has the skill to apply its passive to other heroes. The passive is, each time this hero attacks, destroy 6 non-fire gems and heal them for 90% recovery. The key part in this one is that heal. It's going to be the main purpose of this card, is to give you a heal to help the deck survive, because there's no heal anywhere else in this deck. Its passive to generate Mystic Intensity by 5 per turn is a little less valued in this deck, because this deck isn't that intensity based. You can see in the battle skill for this one that it's applying its passive to one hero plus one additional hero per 100, but really the only thing you're getting out of this is the heal that destroys 6 non-fire gems. The timing of it's wrong, so it happens after the attack. So each time this hero attacks, destroy the fire gem. So it's after you've already done the damage of that turn, it then destroys 6 non-fire gems. So that's maybe to set you up for the next turn, but the next turn your fire gem fall's gone, your attack bonus is gone, so you just have a screen that has some red gems on it, maybe, because that's if you had some left in your gemfall stack from the previous turn. Otherwise you're destroying 6 non-red gems and replacing them with 6 non-red gems. So the timing of this skill has always been confusing to me, because unless you have a Gemfall active when that destruction happens, there's no reason you would get red gems from it. So the main value of this card is going to be in that heal, and then being able to apply that heal to other cards so that you can get multiple heals. So that's the support card. The main event card scroll through all these cards to get to the event card so we can see the 6-star version of it. Battle skill Flamefall. Start or increase a fire gemfall by 40 gems. So Gemfall just means that you're going to get 40 gems that are going to almost certainly be red. If Gemfall is active when the fire gems are matched, increase attack of all mystic heroes by 1% per fire Gemfall stack. So depending on how big you can get that fire Gemfall in there by adding 40 gems, so this one does 40. If you had 2 copies of it, it'd do 80. That would then increase the attack of all mystic heroes by 1% per 5. So if you had 80, that's going to increase it by per 5 Gemfall stacks, so it's going to increase it by what? 18%, which is not that massive, but if you have multiple copies of this card, that could add up pretty quickly. So all this one does is create the Gemfall. If we then look at the X13, it's just the upgraded version of that event card, so adds 50 to the Gemfall stack and increases by 3% per 5 Gemfall stacks. So this one gives you 50 instead of 40, and a 3% increase instead of a 1% increase. So this card is significantly better, and you should replace every instance of the event card with the X13 card if you can. So the last card in this deck is the ultra rare card, and the ultra rare card has a battle skill of destroying all non-fire gems and spawning 2 fire power gem. It says 2s here. The 6-star version is fire power gem 3s plus 2 more per 100 mystic intensity. So this per 100 mystic intensity is the only place in this deck that intensity really matters. And then down in its passive it has a revive, so if you die you can revive again. So this ultra rare, as has been the case in the past few decks, is kind of the key to making this deck work, because if you don't have the Fire Gem Destruction, then creating the Fire Gemfall doesn't do you any good. So the way this deck is designed to work is you build the Gemfall up by using all of the event heroes and X13s that you have to build that Gemfall up as high as you can, and then you use the ultra rare to destroy all non-fire gems. Then when you do that, the Gemfall starts, and so it fills the board up with red gems. That then allows you to match the red gems for your attack, and then as they all get eliminated from the board, more and more and more fire gems rain down and rain down and rain down, and you should get a massive, massive combo and do massive amounts of damage for that hit. So if you don't have this Fire Gem Destruction to get rid of all the non-fire gems on the board, you have nothing with which to start your Gemfall. So you end up with nothing that's very impressive. So this Gem Destruction is kind of the key to making this whole deck work. And as I said before, you can't substitute in the support card because its Gem Destruction happens at the wrong time. It happens after you've already attacked, and when you've already attacked, then you can fill up the board with some fire gems, but the next turn you won't have that Gemfall in place. And you have to have the Gemfall in place this turn to get the destruction from the support card to fill up the board with red gems. But then if you want to have an actual Gemfall, the next turn you need to have the Gemfall again, but since there's a 3-turn cooldown, it really doesn't work. So this deck is confusing to me in the way that the support card works, because it really makes it not effective at all, because the timing is very, very weird. For this deck, if I were building my optimal deck, I would keep one support card, not for the Gem Destruction, but for the heal. So you might be able to get away without it because you do have this revive that would allow you to survive longer. But if you have one of the support cards with the heal in it, you'd probably be able to last indefinitely. You might be okay with using the revive from the ultra rare. But I would have one support card, one ultra rare, and 3 of the event or X13 cards. Depending on how many relics you have and how much intensity you can generate, I might even swap in 2 ultra rares and 2 event cards, because the ultra rares can generate these power gems, and generating the power gems probably is more valuable to doing more damage than simply adding 40 more gems to the Gemfall stack. I haven't tested that out, so I'm not sure, but my intuition says that especially if you can get intensity up pretty high relatively quickly, that creating a whole mess of power gem 3s is going to be more valuable than raining 40 more gems down onto the board. So overall, this deck has been a confusing one to me, but I think that if you can get a deck that has 2 ultra rares in it and 2 of the event cards, or 1 event card and 1 X13 and then a support card, you could try dropping the support card out and putting in 2 ultra rares and 3 event cards, and that might do huge damage in the short term, given that this is a Slayer event and people might not be using the entire clock. I don't know that the intensity builds up enough to make the ultra rares valuable. I don't know, but I also don't know that you would be surviving long enough to really need the healing. The other thing with this deck is that it's slow. You still, on the second turn, can get a big attack off, but when you're doing a Gemfall that has, 90 red gems coming down, you're going to be matching and matching and matching and matching and matching and matching, and by the time that's happened, somebody else may have already finished their attack, moved on and done another attack, and been able to steal that MVP out from underneath you. Because in Slayer events, the bosses die really, really quickly, especially the lower level bosses. And so having a Gemfall deck that takes a lot of time just to get its attacks to happen could be detrimental. So overall, I'm not a huge fan of this type of deck. But if I was going to build it, I would have at least 1 ultra rare. You have to have the Gem Destruction or it doesn't work. So at least 1 ultra rare, and then as many event cards as possible. And if I needed a heal, I would keep a support card around, but for trying to be fast and doing as much damage as I could in the short term, I'd either add a 4th event card or a 2nd ultra rare. Alright, that's all for now. I'm going to do part 2 that talks about the changes that they've made to Slayer events in general, and I'm also going to take a look at the new Loyalty Legendary store and see if there's anything good in there and what you should be maybe saving up for. Until next time.